So sometimes I like to work in a group, and other times I like to work by myself. Sometimes I will accept an invitation to some kind of social event, other times I would turn it down without even thinking about it. Why? Why do I do this? Well, frankly speaking, I'm weird. And yeah, that's just how it is. I mean, I am weird. You can take it or leave it. That's up to you. It's not really something that's up to me. But I mean, aren't we all kind of weird? Just some people are just better at hiding it than others. It's kind of, at least that's how I kind of think about it. And like even like we're talking about that, like the what you might call it, the fact that this kind of thing happens, like this duality with me, is this, it's a funny thing that I've kind of thought of, and I'll like even give an example. Like take for example, like I go to, I don't know, some social event. Let's say it's like a housewarming event. I don't know, I've never been to a housewarming before, but just take it as that. And I walk into the place, maybe I know the person who's moved to a new house, and I greet them. And after that, I know nobody else there at this event, so I go and like stand maybe like next to the window or next to, you know, the house pets and have a conversation. Of course, in my mind, with the house pet, and or I'm just there like looking through my phone and not really talking to anybody. And I'm consciously aware that I am actually like staying by myself, not talking to anybody, kind of like looking through my phone, or like having a mind conversation with the local house pets, be it fish, cat, dog, whatever. That is, if nobody else is also occupying and talking to the house pet. But that's besides the point. So yeah, and so like after that, I'm consciously aware that I'm being like reserved, being quiet, not talking to anybody. And that's just my natural response, especially when I don't know anybody else there or I don't know anyone. I just like zone out, keep quiet, be reserved, go through the whole thing, and then when it's time to leave, when I can leave, when I'm ready to leave, I leave. And there are other times, like even if I go with like somebody that I do know, so for example, let's say I go with a friend or my sister, and we go to this event thing, whatever, and she's there talking to her friends, she's like greeting everybody that she knows. I just kind of, you know, like saunter off or just like kind of blend into the background. And so like picture the background as some kind of painting, and then like all the people there are like characters. Yeah, I kind of just like blend into the background, fade away into the background, rather than like one of the drawn characters. But yeah, and so even like thinking about this, is weird how I'll like actually consciously know I'm doing this, and I will still choose to keep doing it rather than, I don't know, maybe like talk to somebody new. Obviously, talking to somebody new isn't something I'm just gonna actively do, like, hey, I just want to talk to somebody new. I'm terrified. Absolutely terrified of talking to somebody new. But I mean, it's not the end of the world. It's just terrifying to do because no background information, no whatsoever, nothing. You have no information about this person. And I mean, all interactions kind of are like that when they first happen. You don't know this person, they don't know you, they say their name, you say your name, you kind of forget the name that they said, and then you ask them again in a way that's kind of slick, so you don't. Unless you're like a bad person, like, what's my name? And you're like, Jack? But yeah, is of course the name's probably not Jack or something. You use a very typical name, but yeah, I am weird. That's how it is. Take it or leave it, and it's given me it's a lot of peace knowing that yeah, there are parts of me that this is just weird. It's part of my personality. I'm not some kind of, you know, only quiet kind of guy, and oh, I'm always loud or outgoing. I'm only loud when I'm required to be loud. So if I have to act and they said like use your, I don't know, like loud voice or whatever, of course then I'll try to be loud, but I'm not typically loud, but I can definitely be more outgoing than I usually appear to be. Why? Because part of me is outgoing and the other part of me just doesn't want to talk to anybody. So it's weird how, like I said, it's weird how I'll like actively like not do this. Like I know that I'm being quiet and I'd actively like like act in a certain way to like appear to strangers, people I don't know, no background information, nothing, and just not be outgoing and just not be myself because I want to appear, like this quiet, reserved kind of guy. And that's basically how all my kind of interactions go. I appear as this like quiet, reserved kind of guy until you get to know me and you realize this guy is actually pretty weird, pretty cool. Or I don't know, whatever you decide to make up in your own minds, that's up to you. But or at least like this guy is pretty outgoing, kind of. He doesn't seem like the kind of quiet guy. And to the people who know me, they know this about me, and to the people who don't know me, I look like a very quiet, calm, reserved individual. And even with people that I know, I do sometimes appear to be quiet, calm, reserved, and all of that. But I can definitely still be outgoing, and they know this. They definitely know this. But the people who've never met me before, they probably think I'm very, very quiet, very reserved. And that is the image that I kind of put, and I guess that's how I naturally appear to be until, of course, you get to know me and you realize that not all of me is quiet, calm, and reserved. A lot of times, a couple of times, I'm pretty unhinged. Is unhinged the right word? Yeah, I think so. Unhinged? No hinges? Yeah, unhinged. So, like, even like with that, I find the most interesting English always leaves the chat every time I have to speak. Come on. Alright, so I find it pretty interesting, again, a very fascinating thing about me, of this duality of half and half, and like it comes across in like aesthetic wise, and even like with personality. Like I can be outgoing, I can also be quiet at the same time, I can switch it up however I want to. That's not to say that I'm like pretending, obviously. I'm genuinely quiet when I want to be, and I can be outgoing when I want to be. And I know not everybody can do that, so it's a concept that or at least a part of me that I've come to appreciate. And I'm really actually just really, what's the word? Looking for words now. Searching my mind's dictionary. Where is the word I'm looking for? Something that I have come to appreciate about myself is aspect. Yeah, I think that's the word. An aspect about me of, like having this duality and having this ability to kind of switch it up depending on the situation, depending on the people. It also helps me to like kind of like fit into different groups. So if a group is quiet, I can be quiet and we can talk and it's all good. If a group is more outgoing and I guess outgoing is a word. Outgoing, a bit more talkative, I can be more outgoing, a bit more talkative. So it really depends on the group. But as I do think is something that I still need to work on, of, trying not to always look a certain way or like appear quiet all the time, because I do know that at the same time, like, while it's great to be quiet, it's also really great, it's even better, I'd say, to just be myself. So of course, like, if I feel like I want to be quiet, that situation, yeah, sure, why not? But at the same time, there are a lot of opportunities where I could have been more outgoing, and I decided not to because I didn't want to ruin this image or this kind of persona that I'm trying to create where I appear quiet or whatnot. And even like thinking about that, the way that it kind of happens is sometimes I don't even like consciously realize that I'm doing it. Like I don't consciously realize, oh, I've actually like switched to being outgoing. It just naturally happens, which is the other part of it too, because there's one side where this is just naturally you. You could naturally be quiet and not very outgoing. That's fine. Or you could be naturally outgoing and it's not very natural for you to be quiet. That's also fine. Some people, like me, also naturally outgoing and naturally quiet, depending on the situation, how I want to, play out whatever in the situation. Play out whatever. Do you play out roles? No, you just be. Yeah. Wow, English is really not having it today. Okay, so yeah, so you kind of just naturally be in the situation, and whatever situation it calls, you just naturally be yourself, rather than trying to craft this image. And of course, like the other aspect too is like if it's not natural, then you feel forced, like you're forcing yourself to be quiet when you'd rather be outgoing, or you're forcing yourself to be outgoing when you know you're not really outgoing and you'd rather just like not say anything. Each side has its own like benefits, I'd say, and I would say that I am privileged enough. Is privilege the right word? Wow, my last brain cells. My last brain cells really going through the most right now. Okay, so yeah, I think privilege is the word, or it's a gift of being able to experience both sides of the spectrum, both sides of it, where it's not just all quiet and it's not just all outgoing. I can see both sides and like see the different situations, and like how me being outgoing, well, even like with me being outgoing, if I actually think about this, like I'm not going to lie, I think I've made a lot more friends and gotten to know a lot more people by just naturally being myself. Like, of course, like being quiet at times when I want to be, but especially when I'm just like outgoing with all my weird weird aspects or like weirdness and everything. And rather than, like always trying to appear quiet, always trying to appear like reserved, always trying to appear calculated and all of that, I can definitely do that. Like, it's still a part of me. It's not some kind of fake persona or whatever. But there are times, like I said, when it is more natural for me to be outgoing and I choose to be quiet. And then later on, I'm sitting in my bed at like around like 10, 11, 3 a.m. 3 a.m. and like wondering, like I could have been more outgoing and I chose to be quiet, and now I wish I had that opportunity again so I can actually be outgoing rather than be quiet. But I mean, that's life. So rather than, trying to appear a certain way or like be quiet when I know I could be outgoing, is something that I'll have to like become conscious of and become much more aware of. For example, like I think maybe about 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I think about 2 weeks ago, or maybe it was 3. Well, sure. A couple of weeks ago, I went to like a retreat kind of thing with a couple of like friends from different universities, but we meet and we hang out on like Thursdays at 7 and all that. And it was organized by like the church, and we had a retreat where we like just went to like spend some more time together like outside the city, and we had like a speaker come and speak and all that. It was great. And throughout that whole like experience, that whole retreat thing, I'd say I was definitely much more like open and outgoing, and I was definitely much more natural. Yeah, that's the word. That I was much more natural in that, or during that retreat, than maybe like at school or something. Even at school, I'm kind of natural there, but it's definitely not something that just happened like on the spot. It's something I had to work on. And even like with working on it too, is something, if I really like think about it, I know that if I had chosen to force myself to look quiet or to like act a certain way, then I definitely wouldn't have enjoyed it. And like I've made so many friends from like just naturally being myself, than if I had tried to like force, or I'm always quiet, I barely say anything and all of that. And that's not to say that, it kind of seems like I'm always like shutting down or like Shaming is the right word. You know what? I really don't care if I use the right word, but you kind of get the point. I'm not shaming the side of me or the aspect of me that likes to be quiet. I enjoy those times when it happens. What I am saying is that I would much prefer, and would have a lot more peace of mind if I decide to just be natural in the situation, whether even whether even even whether even whether even whether or whether even um whatever the situation like calls for me to be in that situation is best if I actually let myself be natural, make all the jokes I want to make, laugh if I want to laugh, talk if I want to talk, observe if I want to observe, rather than, oh, I have to be quiet here so that they'll think I'm a quiet and calm and a certain kind of person, or oh, I have to be outgoing here so they'll think I'm charismatic. No, just be you. Be you. Leave it as it is. If you're loud or you're quiet, or you're loud and you're quiet like me, or you're loud, quiet, and weird like me, you're all weird and I'm weird too. But like, just let it be. Let it be. Don't try and, or at least I shouldn't try to make sure that people see me a certain way, because ultimately at the end of the day, like, would I rather be laying on my bed, I don't know, 3 a.m. I say 3 a.m. because I had woken up really at that time, but like, would I rather sit there and be like, yes, I've been able to make this person, this stranger that I have no idea about, think of me in a certain way, or they think I'm very quiet, and then I hide the other side of my personality that's outgoing, weird, and whatever it is. So it's really not worth it, because I probably may not even see this person again, for all that I know. I may not even come to interact with them again. This may be the first and last time I ever see this stranger. So I'd much rather just be myself, much rather just be natural, just act natural. Not even act natural. Act natural sounds, it sounds kind of intuitive. Act and natural. Just be natural. Be natural. Yeah. Be natural. Be natural. Rather than like always acting. But I mean, if I really look at it, I think one of the reasons that I've been able to like turn on both, aside from it being also part of my personality, is the all the acting plays I did in high school and all that. It definitely helped me to naturally be outgoing. I know I've had moments where I was more naturally outgoing, but I'd say I wasn't confident enough to be that, or I didn't think that it was part of me. So I pretended, or I just really botched it up. And I did a terrible job of it like earlier on in my life. And so because I never like believed this was actually like a part of me, it's part of my personality, I didn't do it. I stopped doing it and kind of hid that part of me away. And yeah, but now it's just like, well, that's just a part of me, and if you enjoy it, cool, nice, good to know. If you don't enjoy it, cool, nice, good to know. Like, it doesn't take away from me, it doesn't take anything actually away. And those that I would say this, those that really see your real personality, whether you're quiet and you're loud, or you're just quiet, or you're just loud, or you're quiet, you're loud, and weird, I would say that you're probably quiet and weird, or loud and weird. I'm quiet, loud, and weird. But like, the people that would see your real personality, whatever your personality is, however it is. Of course, if you have a really terrible personality, that's a completely different story. But those that see your actual true personality will take it for what it is, and they'll accept it for what it is, because truly, we all know that we're all kind of weird here. And I mean, some of us do a better job of hiding it than others, but just leave it as it is. Those that would take it will take it and love you the more for it, and those that won't take it and it's not their vibe, it's not their kind of way or their preferred, I don't know, kind of person, they will go, and that's fine because not everybody can, you can't please everybody. Like, not everybody's gonna like you, not everybody's going to agree with you. And I mean, those that will like you, those that will agree with you, will like you, will agree with you, and that's just it. Yeah, that's just it. And even like talking on being loud, weird, and all of that. Well, I guess it's just sometimes it's one of those things. It's one of those things that I'm just gonna have to work on. And yeah, just gonna have to keep working on it. To keep working on it and see where it goes. Yeah, just gonna see where it goes. Alright, I mean, I think that's all I have to say for now. I don't think I have anything else that I need to say. I will also leave the link to the video that I kind of built off from if you want to watch that as well after this. I don't know, up to you. Feel free. But yeah, I'll leave that in the description as well. Yeah, all that being said, I think I'll finish this, whatever I'm building, later. But yeah, take care. Bruh.